Hey, welcome back to Married with Gaming. I'm Mike,
I'm Jen.
and today we're going to recap our Saturday game that we played with some other SoCal Grognards. The game is ran by OGGM. We'll try to put a link to his channel. And this is a recap of Session 2.
The long, lonely road to Beggars Canyon. So that episode starts our group off in the town of Ironton, which is where we all found ourselves after the first session. So the first part of the game was mostly kind of role-playing, kind of getting into our characters, kind of learning about the world that we are in, doing some observation, being fed delicious dinosaur meat by villagers.
Yeah, and my character, since he was learning to be a wizard, he experimented with some of his spells, wandered around, ate breakfast, and kind of observed people. The other characters had found out something about a holy item that went missing.
Yeah, so the local priest, I believe Father Timothy, had been waylaid, I think, by bandits, and they were last seen at Beggars Canyon. So we had to decide, do we want to just go to Dunkirk, or do we want to try to help these people that have been so kind and nice to us? And we decided we're good people, so we decided to help and go to Beggars Canyon to see if we could recover, or at least see where these bandits were, who they were, and maybe recover the relic.
Right, so we geared up. We drove out in the Jeep that came across from the other world with the other characters. We hid the Jeep really well. And then we kind of did some observing and found that the caravan looked like it had been ambushed.
Yeah, there were heads on spikes, I believe, and everything. It was pretty creepy.
Yeah, and then we started to move towards it, and that's when we were ambushed by Ratmen from the Gemini Legion. And there was a short combat. We were victorious, after which we made our way down to the ambush site where the caravan was still, I think, smoking, and there was some bodies.
And my character being kind of a shaman, druid kind of theme, a psychic or a medium, I decided that I would try to see what happened here with the spirits. There were definitely some restless spirits that were attacked, and the nun who's with us had done last rites, and that was successful in calming the spirits and putting them at peace. But I really didn't get a whole lot of information from it.
And I, along with Captain Rogers, just buried the dead.
Yeah.
And that's when we tracked the rats, and it looks like they went into the canyon into a cave, so we found their nest.
Yes. And I believe there were some in the cave, but there were also some outside taking shots at us. So
we rolled up, and we did in the Jeep.
In the Jeep, yes.
And tried to they tried to negotiate with us. And then we kind of talked our plans out loud between characters, instead of, getting the time out. So, that's more realistic because we were sitting there talking. So the rats overheard us kind of yammering about our plan. So they attacked us. And then, good.
There was a big kerfuffle. We ended up in the entrance of the cave, and we ended up going into the cave and then setting a fire.
The fire was set first.
Yeah.
And it was manipulated by the priest, Honey, or priestess, or nun, using her magic, I think, to redirect it. And it landed, the fire ended up in the front of the cave, right?
Right in the entryway.
Yeah, so we went into the cave, I've rushed into it.
And there was something moving in the back of the cave, and it ended up being a giant rat tartar, full of pus and goo and like a mutated ginormous rat. And he started coming toward us.
Yeah, so we basically fought it with fire, weapons, and, well, magic.
So one of the things I really like about the game is that when we want to do a spell or we have an idea for a spell, we can just kind of describe what we're trying to do with magic. And sometimes we're successful in doing exactly what we wanted and create a spell that way. And sometimes we create an entirely new spell. So my idea was to contact a spirit and try to get a spirit to possess Rat Tartar so that we could control him or it. That didn't exactly happen, but instead I created Slime Claw. And I'm kind of attached to Slime Claw already. So out of the pus on Rat Tartar, a big claw that's kind of made of slime and creepy got up and attempted to choke Rat Tartar.
Yeah, I believe that combined with getting it on fire finished it off.
Yeah, lots of fire attacks. We had at some point built a second fire in the cave. There was a stream that kind of separated us from where Rat Tartar was. And at some point we had kind of built a second fire there by the stream.
Yeah. And then after that, we made our way across that little stream or what it was in the cave. Found a locked door, and it was a prison cell. So after we got into there, we found a captive rat person who was elderly and
Feeble.
Spoke as if he was being held against his will and tortured. We released him, and then we wandered around and found the holy item. And much to our surprise, the holy item was
A Mickey Mouse statue.
Yep.
Like a one you get like from Disneyland.
Yeah, so
And I think the rat was, I think his story was the other rats had kind of been corrupted by this Gemini, whoever or whatever Gemini was, and he didn't go along with that, so they had imprisoned him.
And we were out of time at that point, and all it was a wrap up, so we just kind of wrapped the game there.
But it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to see all the details, it was streamed on OG's channel.
And I guess till next time.
So best thing about that game, Slime Claw. See you next time.
Help.
Thank you for watching, and please take a moment to like and sub.